I have a chronic illness, and you have it too, probably. I've been thinking a lot about this recently, especially with our whole journey to house ownership, and I've realized that our entire generation is suffering from one specific thing. This is a rather large house behind me here, as you can probably see, and it's not mine. I don't own that house. That would be my parents' house. And there are a bunch of cars in the driveway over here. I don't know if you can't see over there, but only one of them is mine. The rest of them are my parents. They have a bunch of cars. And I think we tend to look at the way that our parents are living in big houses with a lot of cars, with obviously more money than we have. And for some reason, we expect to live the way they are living right now. Right now. We completely fail to realize that they have worked for the last 40 years to build up and accumulate this great sum of wealth. Well, if you're like me, you've been at it for a year and a half. You get out of college, maybe you're already in a good bit of debt, and probably you've been spending a lot of money while you were taking on that debt for some reason. Taco Bell visits, for instance, that was my big problem. To live like you lived with your parents, or like your parents are living. So what you end up doing is by looking at, say, this house here, or the cars in the garage, or the driveway, you look at that and you say, I should be able to live in this maybe upper middle class home as a 22-year-old, freshly married, fresh out of college, all these different things. You can probably hear the ducks back here swimming around. Turn this over there. There they are. But the reality of it is, you shouldn't be doing that. You can't be doing that. You just started. And so in order to put on all of this stuff, to simulate a life of wealth and of success, you take on car loans, you take on credit card debt, you take on a huge mortgage, and you can't pay any of it because you don't have any money, and neither do I. Before we move on to this next section, I just want to say I'm not a financial expert. I don't claim to be. My wife and I have nothing. Combined, we have nothing except for what we've been saving for our future house, which you can subscribe down below if you haven't to follow the journey. So everything that I say here in this section is not coming from a place of expertise or experience even. This is what I'm trying to live right now. This is what my wife and I are trying to do right now. And it takes patience. It takes a willingness to suffer. And I think that's the key word in all of this, is suffer. Are you willing to suffer for your success later in life? If the answer is yes, I think there's really no possible way that you won't find success later in life. But if the answer is no, you are going to suffer greatly later. Every dollar you have in debt right now is accumulating to millions of dollars that you could have saved over the course of your life. And so when my wife and I got married, we had about $10,000 left on our car. And we paid that off really fast because we realized that that was taking away from our overall net worth and our overall ability to save to any large extent. So we were done paying for that in less than maybe 5 months or so. And we were able to then immediately, all of that money that we were putting into paying off our debt, we put into our savings account. So that really is step one if you're trying to find financial freedom, if you're trying to set yourself up for success, is you've got to get rid of that debt. And so we paid off all of our debt. We are now debt-free, which is huge, but it doesn't give us the liberty or freedom to live like our parents are living. We can't just compare ourselves to them. We just got started. The other thing we have to be willing to do is make sacrifices. We can't just buy whatever we want, whenever we want. And that's kind of how we were living before. There's a big hawk up there. Hope he's not looking for duck, or human for that matter. And that's kind of how we were living. We were buying whatever we wanted, whenever we wanted. We had all these subscriptions. We had all these different things. But again, this is simulating a life that you don't really own. You're not really there. You're ending up paying thousands of dollars a month for something you don't really own. Your car that you're paying payments on, you don't really own that. Your subscriptions to streaming platforms, you don't own any of that. You're just paying to simulate a life of success. Don't do that. And a lot of people might say, well, the system is broken though. There's no way to survive and become like my parents are in today's society, in this world's economy. But I would really challenge that. I would push back on that. If you save money, if you cut your spending, if you actually put effort into this, there is no way that you won't succeed by the time you're ready to retire. You have to work a little harder. Again, you have to be willing to suffer. This isn't something that you do in ease and comfort. That's kind of out of the picture at this point. But you can do this, and you can actually retire as a millionaire. And that's what we've begun to realize as we've been on this journey, is that if you actually put effort into it, you can do this. This is not out of your reach. So I want to welcome you to join us on this journey, not just by subscribing and liking this video, although do that too, please, but also by joining us financially. Get rid of your debt, begin to save, work harder, launch a new business, utilize the skills that you've been, gaining and learning all of these years, and stop comparing yourself to your parents, as I have been so guilty of doing. And if you stop doing that, that's huge. You are playing a game. The game can be beaten. You just have to work hard at it. And so I welcome you to the Grey Goose Trail. This is sort of our journey as we save for a house or land or something. We're going to figure that out along the way. And this is sort of what we do here. So welcome and stay on the trail, gooses.